This is a short video just to show us how to create a map off of an Excel spreadsheet. First, we begin with an Excel spreadsheet that we have that has ministries in it with addresses. This is located on the Google Drive. Now what we can do from that is double click on it and it opens up in Google Sheets. And from Google Sheets, you can see in the upper left it's the Excel spreadsheet. Click on the Open in Google Sheets. It will convert it over to a Google format, and that actually works better for importing the map. Now to clean up the Excel spreadsheet, we got to make sure that there's no special characters on any of the columns. In this case, there was a slash in there. We need to take that out. Then also there's a couple of lines up here at the top that don't have anything to do with the ministry. We're going to clean that up. So really the idea is to clean up the Excel file before we actually import it into the map. We don't want to get any errors. Also, we need to go down and verify that the addresses are all complete. For this example, the ones that do not have all of the zip codes and the complete information for the address, I'm going to delete. What you might want to do before you create yours is go through and make sure that the addresses are all accurate. This will ensure that the pins get dropped correctly on the map when you upload it. After you've cleared up all of the addresses, hit the back button. That saves it back to the Google Drive. Now let's go and open up the Google Maps. Select from the menu Your Places. There on the submenu, click Maps. Then at the bottom, click Create a Map. That creates a generic map. Name your new map. We'll name this one Alabama CR Ministries, or AOO. We'll have many layers, so name this first one so you know it is the ministries. Then underneath the layer name, you will see Upload. Click that and then go to the Google Drive tab to get to the spreadsheet. Make sure that you get the Google Sheet and not the Excel spreadsheet. You can see by the icons on the bottom. Select the Google Sheet and it'll process. And now it's going to ask you what do you want to use for the placement. So select the zip code, state, city, and address. And then the next prompt says, what do you want to name it? Select the church. And then this will go ahead and go in the upper left. You'll see it saying that it's processing. Now we have a map with all of the ministries identified around the state. Now we want to create a layer that identifies an area of opportunity. We make sure that we can see the area on the map, and we go over and we click Add Layer, and that'll add the new layer. And then we click it to name it by the rep's name. So this is David. Now we want to make sure we got it over there on the left. We go up and we click the create a line, add line or shape, and now we can actually click on the map and it'll start dropping points on the map, and we're going to outline the area of opportunity. You don't have to worry about getting great detail because we can modify it later. We'll actually show in a clip how to adjust if we don't have the exact area of opportunity correct. We roughly go by border lines and by highways. That's how the reps will identify the area. And then connect it with the box. Name it, the rep's name, David. And then pick a color. Now let's go ahead and add the next layer. So there's the area we want to get. We can see it all on the map. Go over to the left. Go up to add a layer. Then we want to name it. So this one we're going to name Mickey. Now we want to make sure we got Mickey down there. We do. Now we want to go up to add a line or shape. and then we're going to click around the area of opportunity, going along the state border and then down by the Gulf. Again, you don't have to get exact, but kind of wrap it in there. It makes it look a little neater when it gets completed. Later you can adjust these if you end up wanting to get particular. But just start with getting the rough outline. Back to the dot that started it, it creates a box. You can name it by the rep, so Mickey, and then we'll pick a color. It's that simple. Now we'll move on and add the next one. We'll move in and zoom up a little bit. This is a smaller area. We're going to select add a layer, and then we're going to name it. And the name for this one's Pat. And there we go. Oop. And if you're like me, sometimes you spell things wrong, and you can see I spelled the layer wrong, so you can click on it. And now you can correct the spelling, and we can make it Pat instead of pay. Now we have the layer. Go up to the top, select a line, add a line or group, and then start clicking away to create your layer. Again, you probably already know by the layout of the ministries what are the general areas. If not, you can look that up or kind of get close before you start doing it. Back around to create the shape, name it by the rep's name, Pat, and then pick a color. Then it's probably obvious, but we should probably pick colors that are not the same. That way you can tell the difference. Now we're going to go create another layer. So we're going to add a layer. And this one's going to be for Roger. Go up and do add a line or shape. And then repeat the process that we've done in the past by going and outlining the area that is going to be for the state rep. Getting as close as we can to line up with the other ones. Now it gets a little tricky. You just got to make it match the other ones, and we'll adjust later. And we'll name it Roger. And we'll pick a color. All right, we'll adjust the map. We'll move on and add the next layer. Add a layer. And this layer will be for Jennifer. So we'll name it Jennifer. We'll go over to the left-hand side and we'll pick add a line or group. And now we're going to map out an estimated area where Jennifer is responsible for, her area of opportunity. And again, just drop them in there and you're going to adjust later. We're going to name the layer Jennifer and we're going to pick a color. Remember, try to get a different color. Now we'll go ahead and add the next layer. And this one's going to be for Laura. So we do add a layer. We click on it to name it. Laura. And then we're going to go up to readjust the map a little bit, zoom in, and now we're going to select the add a line or shape, and then we're going to zip on around this area, come right on down this highway, get about as close as we think we know, and then we're going to go around and connect up next to the other one, and there we go. We're going to name this one, and we're going to call it Laura. And then the color. So now we move on to the next one. We're going to move the map. You can just see the color now, and you can see how it's all getting together. Now let's go ahead and add Josh in here. Add a layer, and then name it Josh. We'll zoom in so we can get a little bit closer to the detail. And we start by line, add a line and shape, and just start going around. Go down the border, come across, just kind of match it up roughly with the previous layers, and then see how close we are, and we'll get it adjusted uh, in the areas that might have overlap. I'm going to name this one Josh. I'm going to pick color. Now we can close it out and look around and see what we ended up with. Now we can notice that there's an area that doesn't have anybody representing it. We can zoom in there and actually click on one of the little markers, and what is nice is it actually picks up all the data from the sheet, and we can then look and see who the rep is, and it looks like these are Roger. So what we'll end up doing is we're going to modify Roger's area to cover this area, and maybe even bring down Laura to cover the top part a little bit. So let's see how that works. So we're going to click on Laura, and there's these little dots, and you can move them. There's always one in between two straight lines, and you can just kind of drag them down. I'm going to go along this little highway here, and we're going to bring Laura's area down along this area. And again, the reps will end up telling you where they're covering and where they're not. Sometimes in these areas there's borders, there's major valleys, maybe a mountainside. They'll tell you, when you get this mapped out, they'll tell you what's their area and what's not their area. So just kind of get it covered and then review it with your reps, and then they'll be able to help you identify. They'll definitely want to adjust things, especially where the borders come together. So there we adjusted Laura's. Now let's move Roger's up to encompass what's left here. So we click on Roger's layer, and that gives us all our little dots, and then we'll just go up and match it up to the other borders here. And it gets pretty simple after this. We just start dragging the dots up to the lines to fit it right in, snug as a bug. That is how you can adjust for when you have border changes, or if one of your reps wants to change areas, that's how you can do it. Now we zoom out, and you can see that your whole area is covered, and that is your map. Now sometimes you'll notice that you might have a city where you have one person covering the city, like right here in the middle, but it's going over the border. So now what we want to do is give everything around this city, which is Rogers, to Roger. So we're going to need to modify this layer. So we'll show you how to do that. Gonna go over this side, and we got to zoom in a little bit. Can't click on the layer because the layer will want to select. So we get to the point where we can put it in the center of the screen, and then use your plus signs to be able to move in there. And it gets a little tricky when all the layers are there, but zoom directly in on it. Now we can begin to adjust. So the first thing, you got to move Clay out of the way. And so you got to highlight Clay, grab his little dots, and then begin to move him out of the way. And you can see how this works. It's just the negative approach that we were doing at taking property. Now we're going to give it back. So we got to back the property off for Clay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to expand Roger over to take these. So we click on Roger's layer. Got to click the little label off sometimes. And then we're going to start adjusting to expand Roger out to go around to encompass these other areas that he has. And now we've adjusted the layer for Roger, and now we can zoom out and we can see that we got it done properly. And now we've updated it to go around the state, and there is your whole map for Alabama. Now the question is going to be, we have the map done, but how do we get it to show up by our spreadsheet? It's not there. Well, how you do that is you go over to your Google Drive and you click on the root folder, the top part there, shows all your files. That's where your maps are stored, your places are stored. And there we can find the Alabama map I just created. Now I've been using this folder called test folder. Yours would be something else, but we want to put it in the folder where the spreadsheets were. So all I'm going to do is drag that Alabama map and I'm going to drop it into the folder that I want it in. It disappears from here, and when I go to the map, it is now included where the spreadsheets are. We can go ahead and simplify this and clean up and get rid of the Google Sheet by removing it, and now we're all good. That's it. I hope this helped. We've been able to take the spreadsheet that we have for the CR Ministries, and we've been able to put them all on the map, and then we were able to identify the areas of opportunity. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you get stuck. I'll do what I can to help you out. Have a blessed day.